When Lily entered my life, I was convinced I had finally found the person who could pull me back into feeling whole again. She carried a warmth that drew people in effortlessly. Her smile had a way of brightening even the dullest spaces, and her laughter was so genuine that it pulled laughter from anyone nearby without effort. We married young and built a simple but happy life in Austin. For several years, everything felt right. Our days were calm, predictable in the best way, filled with small, shared moments that made life feel meaningful. What I didn't realize then was that not everyone sees peace as something precious. To Lily.com slowly became suffocating. What I viewed as stability, she began to experience as boredom. The shift started quietly. She signed up at a neighborhood gym, saying she wanted to get back in shape. That's where Jake came into the picture. He was a trainer confident, younger than us, and the type of guy who thrived on admiration. Soon, his name began slipping into daily conversation. She talked about how entertaining he was, how encouraging, how people gravitated toward him. At first, I ignored it. Marriage teaches you restraint, and I didn't want to become the insecure husband reading danger where none existed. But over time, Jake's presence grew heavier. His name came up so often, it felt like he'd inserted himself into our marriage. Without ever asking, the first moment that truly unsettled me came one Friday night when Lily didn't walk through the door until nearly midnight. She explained that friends from the gym had gone out for drinks and that Jake had been there as well. She delivered it casually, smiling, as if it were the most normal thing in the world. I said nothing then. In a way, I couldn't ignore. You know when someone's energy shifts, you feel it when their laughter no longer feels shared. In the weeks that followed, her phone became an extension of her hand. She'd grin at messages, type rapidly, and then flip the screen face down the moment I got close. One evening, I asked lightly who she was talking to. She shrugged and said it was Jake, adding that he was funny, as though that explanation should settle everything. I remember staring at her, trying to understand how icily she said it, how she expected me to be fine with another man occupying so much of her attention. That night, I stopped avoiding the truth and spoke plainly. I told her that if she continued seeing Jake outside the gym, I would leave. She laughed, dismissed it, and told me I was overreacting. But I wasn't exaggerating or trying to control her. I was being honest. I had given her years of loyalty, patience, and love. I wasn't going to stand by while she traded that for someone chasing validation. Even then, I didn't push further. I wanted to believe she would choose us. The following weekend, she said she was heading out with the girls. Something about it felt wrong, the care she took getting dressed, the final glance in the mirror before walking out the door. An hour passed, and the feeling refused to fade. I called her best friend, Sarah. After a brief pause, Sarah lowered her voice and told me Lily wasn't with them. That single sentence answered everything. I took my keys and drove toward the bar Lily had mentioned. Along the way, I passed a rooftop restaurant glowing warmly against the night sky. I slowed down, and there she was, laughing freely, her hand resting comfortably on Jake's arm. I pulled over and sat there, silent, letting the truth settle in without denial. In that moment, it felt like everything we had built collapsed into one careless smile. I didn't confront them. I didn't cause a scene. I lifted my phone, took a picture, and drove home. I packed only what mattered: clothes, important papers, and a few personal items I couldn't leave behind. I removed my wedding ring and placed it on the kitchen counter beside a short note. It said that she had laughed when I warned her, and that I was done being the joke. After 7 years, I walked out of the house we once called home. By morning, my phone was overflowing with messages. She begged me to call, insisted she could explain. But when the truth is obvious, explanations lose their value. I didn't respond. I changed my number, stayed with my brother for a while, and started the painful process of rebuilding. It wasn't easy. Starting over never is. But for the first time in months, I could breathe without wondering who had her attention. 2 weeks later, I learned she had shown up at my old job, crying and asking to see me. My coworkers told her I had moved away for a new position. That wasn't true, but I needed her to believe it. Distance was the only boundary left. Not long after, Sarah contacted me privately. She told me Jake had stopped returning Lily's calls. Apparently, he had already found someone new at the gym. Karma didn't waste any time. Months passed. I relocated, found a new place to live, a new job, and slowly began again. Sometimes late at night, I still thought about her, not with love or rage, but with quiet disbelief at how quickly something solid can break. Then, one evening, an email arrived. She admitted I had been right, that she should have listened, that she had lost everything. I didn't reply. Some lessons don't require a response. Pain explains itself well enough. In the end, I realized she had been right about one thing. Jake did understand her better than I ever did. He knew how to charm her, take what he wanted, and leave without hesitation. And when I walked away that night, she finally learned the difference between someone who stays and someone who only pretends. She laughed at my warning, but when I left, her laughter went with me.